It's January 10th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. A wonderful, fantabulous, fantastic Friday morning to everyone. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying however your weather is. It's kind of gloomy here in Toronto. No snow, but it's coming. I promise. It's coming.
It's like, hold on. Let's see how.
Well, it's nice and sunny where you are. Look at that. Look at you. Look behind. Look at you. Got those
Well,
cars?
yeah, got the cars. It is 16 degrees out, folks.
That's Fahrenheit, by the way. So for the Canadians, that's -5?
Feels like 11.
-7.
There's snow on the ground. We're supposed to get more snow today. It's cold. It's cold out there.
We have the same weather, you and I. Same thing. In Canada land here, it's -3. That's Celsius, which most people live in. Feels like -6. And we're going to get snow by 5 o'clock. Snow overnight in Toronto. So it is what it is. Listen, we've gone without snow this long in Toronto. We've had it, but then it's gone away because it gets a little milder. And of course, everything else gets fixed up. But we'll be back. It's January. It's time for snow.
It doesn't have to be time for snow.
-20 with the wind chill grays is awful. I would also not be a fan. That's Celsius. Yeah, that's not good. Not great.
No, that sucks. Everyone, stay safe if it's snow. Everyone in California, hopefully you're staying safe. Hopefully, you're okay. We talked a little bit about it yesterday on Spotlight, but Jeremy Padower put out a big message. She's been a multiple-time guest on Spotlight, and he lost everything, and just heartbroken for him because he may have been one of the biggest top collectors in the world, and to see all of that disappear, I can't imagine how that feels. Fortunately, him and his family are safe, so that's the important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's still awful. Still, it's horrible to see what's going on in California. So if you're in California, stay safe. However, if anybody can help, however we can help, let us know. Put something in the chat, or just reach out to somebody if they could be helpful.
Yeah, there have been a few people who have passed around information about Airbnbs and restaurants that are offering their services out there if you need them. So keep an eye out. And again, this is I hope people do their due diligence when this happens, because it's an emergency, but people also sometimes suck. Just triple check with the business before you check in with them, because I hope that they're doing it, but sometimes people put out false information for the sake of a joke, and it's a stupid joke. So triple check, but we send our love to those who are affected by the fires over in California. I have a friend of mine, a good friend, who has been living there for the last few years. He just got back from vacation, and I didn't realize that he had to evacuate from where he was. So he's okay. He's safe. That's all that matters. And his friends helped him out. So sending those good vibes to our friends out there on the West Coast. Stay safe. Okay. All right. Good. We got to talk about some wrestling, I guess, today.
I don't have to.
That's true.
My cat is trying to barge in here.
No, because we're talking about not wrestling. Keep talking about wrestling, and the cat's going to be like, bye-bye, and just leave.
She's very angry. I don't know what her deal is. She's been a little... I can't say the word. We're less than 5 minutes in. She's been a little C word or a B word.
Yeah, you can't trust the B in apartment with Jeremy.
Yeah, he did pretty well there. Yeah, she's just meowing all morning, woke us up. I don't know what the hell her deal is, but I'm gonna backhand her or something.
Damn, it's a cat, buddy.
Look, here she comes. Come here. Yeah, come here.
The funny thing is, you're her favorite.
Oh, I'm definitely her favorite.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, the wife has confirmed this for anybody who didn't hear, but I'm definitely her favorite.
Yeah, Ryan in the chat's got it. The cat wants a sip of that mana.
Do you think the mana would chill her out?
Why
not?
I feel like we shouldn't be giving your cat mana.
Maybe not on air. We can just replace her water bowl and put a little mana in it. Go mana! Yeah, look, she perked up on that one. She wants some.
It has nothing to do with you hitting your arm.
I know, or yelling.
Ken already pointing out, we're 9 minutes in and discussing if cats can drink tequila.
The most absurd show ever. She's just gonna have to come in here when you leave. Yeah, just leave her in here. She'll be fine.
Every few years.
All right.
Every few years.
Me and the cat are gonna drink some mana on this show.
Perfect. Every few years, a podcast breaks out, and breaks out of the ethos of everyone else being a podcaster. Anyway, and then someone asks, like, who did it? Like, what were your influences? And I swear to God, the day someone says our show, I'm going to be so sad for humanity. Talking about cats eating or cats drinking tequila.
No one should be influenced by this show.
No, never.
No one should be influenced.
The anonymous ITW general manager, whose voice you may have just heard a few minutes ago, said, I'm very afraid to leave.
You leave me to my own devices, and I can't be held responsible. She was touching her face.
For the life of me.
It's a good song.
I cannot remember. Anyway,
you think AEW is going to use that as a theme song?
I don't know. They got to find a new one because they forego. They didn't use the opener this week.
Oh, they didn't?
No, they went right to the Ospreay match. They did it's Wednesday. You know what that means. And they had
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. They just completely went. It was great.
Oh, I legitimately didn't notice it. Like, I had the show on, but I didn't notice that there was no intro.
The excitement's gone, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's all gone.
We went from trying to restore the feeling to fighting for the soul of AEW. Now we were so excited. Now we're just watching the show. That's all it is.
Do you think they heard the criticism and it was just like, it's not worth it?
I think they absolutely heard the week of discourse. And I think some smarter voices prevailed. People are saying the song didn't bug me, but this is the thing. For us, we see the humor in it and we have a good laugh about it. But like, if you're thinking of the show as a pitching an audience on something and the vibe of the show and what it's supposed to be, it's not an 80s sitcom. And that's what Pointer Sisters, that's what I'm so excited brings. It's not it's not ED medication. Like but that's what they're being used for. That I'm so excited has been used for various like ED medications and sitcoms from the 80s and shit like that. So like I get why somebody may have been like, maybe this isn't the vibe you want to go with. We can laugh about it because it's hilarious to us because we're already watching. We're already invested. This is part of our work. For other people, it probably said like, we should probably not do it like this. And then Tony went away and was just like, all right, fine, you're right. AEW Dynamite brought to you by Cialis.
I mean, I assume they got a Blue Chew sponsorship. Everybody does. So,
I mean, half of their podcast team gets that sponsorship. Yeah. If they don't have, what is it? Not Tops. Who's the unrestricted podcast? They've got, is it Upper Deck?
Oh, sure.
I think Upper Deck is now sponsoring them. So every beginning of the episode, they were doing like card unboxing. And I was like, oh, this is bad for audio. What are we doing here? Anyway, so they're not excited anymore.
That's a shame. They should have kept it. Hopefully they bring it back next week. Fight back, Tony. Fight back.
Maximum Carnage. And the theme is I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah. It should be.
Oh my goodness. The way that Sean put it on the post show was like everybody but like one person didn't like that theme choice. And Sean was like, when I was told, I thought it was a rib. And then I turned on the show last week and this is very far to go for a rib. And I feel like this rib went too far. And now we're just going to go back. I don't know what the theme's going to be. Maybe Ruckus will make a new theme. He's always good at that. I'm curious what they'll do.
Tony spends all this money on themes. Like, just acquire a theme that is semi-relevant and fits. Like, I have no issue with him using a non like in-house song. Like, sure. There's no issue with that. Most of the WWE doesn't use an in-house song for their themes. So why would AEW? AEW's shown way more willingness to spend on music for wrestlers, for video packages, for whatever it might be. So AEW, it is weird that like their Collision, I guess that they had Saturday nights all right for Collision at the very beginning, but Dynamite was always an in-house theme, and then they went to an in-house theme for Collision, and Rampage was always an in-house theme. But like they'll spend tons of money on a theme song. Orange Cassidy's got 2 themes. They'll spend monies on themes for Orange Cassidy. They'll spend money on music for video packages. Spend money on music for a theme. Again, they do it with Elton with Collision. Do it for Dynamite. Just get something that maybe isn't an 80s Pointer Sister song.
I still think Collision, they could be using the Saturday night version by Nickelback. And I know,
yeah, they should.
And I know a lot of people push back on that, but like if you listen to that one, it is actually a better, heavier rock version of that song. What does that cat want?
Do you hear this thing?
I just heard her.
She's got a string.
Yeah.
So no, she's got it. She's now just like she's leaving. She wants to play. She's been wanting to play like literally since like 6 a.m. this morning when she woke us up. She has this string. It's a hoodie string. This hoodie still has strings, but it's a red hoodie string. It's from my Reds hoodie. It came out, and she just claimed it because I left it on the floor. That was my first mistake. So I left it. She's coming back. Come here. But she just has this thing in her mouth, and like she just wants someone to play with. And there's no one here but me right now, and I am doing this show instead of bending the knee at her every command.
Just bring the camera down. We'll do cat cam, and you'll play with the cat while we do this show.
I mean, we can.
Or she can come up to your level.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to. She might just sit on my lap, but she's outrageous right now. I don't know what her deal is.
People are asking the one question that I've been kind of wondering.
No.
Okay. Well, at least we got that out of the way.
No.
She's too old for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the IDW Anonymous General Manager confirming that she got everyone out of bed this morning.
Yeah, she's a little asshole is what she is.
You should stop her. Yeah.
Lovable one, but still an asshole.
Yeah, do the Nickelback cover of Saturday Night for Collision, going back to that talk. What's the Dynamite theme? What would you choose for the new Dynamite theme? Do you have something in your head?
So who said Sabrina Carpenter? That's the answer. Just espresso.
Oh, you know who it is. It's our soulmate. It's Ryan Lambert.
Oh yeah, Ryan's the best.
Ryan gets it.
Yeah, espresso as that makes sense, right? Dynamite, espresso, like we could do that.
Why not the song Dynamite by oh god, what's his name? I throw my hands up in the air sometimes.
Yeah.
I used to have to do that one on cruise ships.
Teo Cruz.
Yeah, Teo Cruz.
That was a one-hit wonder, wasn't it? He didn't do anything else.
Or they'll do Dynamite by BTS, but that's too expensive. Yeah, do the Teo Cruz song. Hungry like the Wolf. I agree. More Duran Duran in wrestling. Do Rio.
Hungry like the Wolf. Okay, that's not so bad. King Potato saying they should actually use Not Like Us for the opener. I heard that song. I was listening to the radio yesterday. I didn't get a chance to listen to it all because I was just pulling in the driveway when it came on. But I was so shocked. Like I was listening to the radio and I forgot the song. It was a Sabrina Carpenter song, actually, that was playing just before that. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Sabrina Carpenter's playing on the radio. That's surprising. But then the next song comes. It was like top 40 hits or whatever. But the next song comes on. It goes, psst, I see dead people. I was like, wait a second. This song is on the radio? They can play this on the radio? And I was a little disappointed because I had the kids with me. I had and I didn't want I didn't know if it was going to be edited or not. And so, like, I'm like, how are they going to edit this thing? This man's calling another man a pedophile. Like, how's this thing going to be edited on the radio? So I didn't get to stick around to listen to the radio version. But it doesn't seem like it's a good edited song.
No, it's going to be hard to edit. There have been other songs like that where they've had to, like, rearrange stuff or leave, like, instrumental breaks.
Yeah. AW doesn't like that, though. They got to talk over all that.
Yeah, that's right. Here's the one song. If you want to stick to 80s rock that you could use, Night Train by Guns N' Roses. It's got a good riff.
Night Train.
Yeah, Night Train.
I was thinking all I can think of is Night Moves. Working on the night moves.
I had this is a hilarious. I did a wedding band gig where the wedding band was entirely comprised of people who didn't know each other, and we had 3 months to prepare for a wedding. By the way, that shit doesn't happen. Normally, they're established bands. Anyway, I get picked up for this gig, and Night Moves is the song that is their first dance. Okay, do you remember your first dance with your wife?
Yes.
What was it? Because I don't remember what it was.
Wow, Joel, you were there.
I know, but it wasn't my wedding.
Fair. It was Breathless by Taylor Swift, which is not a Taylor Swift song, but it was a cover. We used the Taylor Swift version because it's slower. And I mean, come on.
Yeah. So there's always a reason for doing it. And there's always a reason for the song that you pick, whether that's the parent dance or whether that's the newlywed dance. This particular couple picked Night Moves. And I was like, what? Why are they picking Night Moves by Bob Seger? And it turns out these two were part of some sort of like group in university where they got, I don't know what happened, but they all did a dance. They had an actual choreographed dance to this song, and they busted that shit out while we're playing Night Moves at this person's wedding. That was wild. But yeah, I don't know if Night Moves for Dynamite's going to be the right answer.
I think it'd be great.
You ever go to
throw us some songs, everybody, and we'll sing them, and then I'll edit them into the new Dynamite theme, like I did with the Ricochet horror theme. But now we'll just have me singing over them.
Just do Vanilla Baby with the Dynamite theme.
Oh, I sang that yesterday. Cole Radrick was very displeased.
Very
with my
funny.
singing.
It was very good. Oh, the ghost cover of "It's a Sin" by the Pet Shop Boys. I just want the original version. That I love that whiny Pet Shop Boys voice. It's a sin. At school they taught me how to be. Yeah, it's a good song.
What is that?
You ever listen to the Pet Shop Boys? Oh, Euro disco pop from the 80s.
No.
Two gay dudes just tearing it up on the dance floor.
Pet Shop Boys?
Yeah, you know what the best part was? Back when Russia wasn't a piece of shit country, politically speaking, I mean, I guess they always were, they did Live 8 in Russia, like in front of the Kremlin, and Pet Shop Boys like headline that shit. It's wild.
Mm.
It's easy to simultaneously love and hate the Pet Shop Boys. I get it.
Nookie. Oh, that's a good song. Yeah, Creep by Smashing Pumpkins. That should
always,
be the beat.
Always wins. Yeah, do a Go West Pet Shop Boys cover.
Let me hold on. Let me message Tony.
Okay.
Hello, Tony Khan. Can you use Creep by Smashing Pumpkins as the new AW Dynamite theme? Thanks. There you go. You think Billy would give him the rights to that?
Yeah, for a lot of money to keep the NWA afloat. Put it in the NWA slush fund. Maybe they can sign a few more talent.
Slush fund? Is that like slushies?
Yeah, they got a slushy machine back there. That's how they work the shows.
Cool.
Yeah, do Toxic by Britney Spears.
With a taste on your lips, I'm on the ground. Your toxic tongue lays me under.
What Billy Joel song would Tony Khan use for Dynamite? Is it Moving Out?
Billy Joel? What is he saying?
We didn't start the fire.
Oh, I thought that was a Dwight Schrute song.
Yes, it's Dwight Schrute. You're right. Yeah, there you go. Ken got We Didn't Start the Fire. Change the lyrics to It's Raining Men to It's Raining Meat.
That'd be good.
Yeah, Piano Man is also a Billy Joel, very well known. Uptown
Sing
Girl.
us a song, Mr. Piano Man. That's the only lyric I know from that.
It's just River of Dreams. It's just River of Dreams by Billy Joel over and over again. In the middle of the night.
Oh, okay.
Walking in my sleep. Yeah, 1994. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to today music. We're only 30 years off.
Nah, you can't use "Don't Stop Believing." That's lame.
It wouldn't work.
Song. Yeah.
You could do Pressure. It's all right. Land of Confusion by Genesis, but instead of the Genesis version, you do the Disturbed version.
They should do Vanilla Ice.
It's also known as Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, but okay.
Well, yeah, it is sort of, but
I mean, it was sampled. The white Vanilla Ice version is sampled.
Yeah, allegedly.
How old are you, chat? This is wonderful. Haha gets Take On Me. Oh, God. Cyclops better than Wolverine saying, great question. Sorry, I can't answer that right now. That's the theme to Dynamite. It's just Tony saying great question over and over and over again in a scrum setting. Excellent question. Great question. Awesome question. Great question. Love your question. Great question. Love your question. Great question. Great question. Great question. And that's a great question. Great question. I'm not going to put up with that shit. Welcome, everyone, to AEW Dynamite. There's Pat Benatar. Jesus. Yes, let's go. Oh, you guys are old. I love it. Are you still writing out that tweet?
No.
No, you're actually doing work. Sounds bad.
Yeah.
Make all AEW shows Elton John centric. Candle in the Wind is the new Dynamite theme song. Beth by Kiss. Okay. Feel like that wouldn't work, but maybe Stutter. Night Fever by the Bee Gees. But it's just the keyboard solo. It's a weird timing. It's great. There's some really weird and great songs in here. Just do Enemy by Fozzy. There you go. It's going to be a Fozzy theme. You know it. Jericho's going to politic his way in to get a Fozzy theme as the theme for Dynamite. And everyone's going to love it. Especially our old pal, Kenny Sokol. Dynamite is the Lion King song. All right. Did we figure out what we wanted to use as the theme song for Dynamite yet?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we accomplished anything there.
No, I don't either. But we got Kiss's Love Gun. That'll do it. You see, the gun is his dick. Best movie ever. Just do Video Kills the Radio Star. That's it. Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, and everyone's going to be fine. Buggles, Bugles, Buggles. 2 G's. Buggles. All right. We talking wrestling now? You good to go?
I guess so. Sure.
What are you working on? What is this thing you're working on?
Oh, this Matt Riddle.
Did he get paid finally?
Apparently he got paid in December.
So. Shocker of shockers. For those who missed out, Matt Riddle said that TNA hadn't paid him yet for his appearance at Turning Point. Kind of said it in like an offhand way. He's like helping friends, but he didn't get paid. But TNA does like I pay 3 weeks later thing. I still haven't gotten paid. And anyway, long story short, I guess he has been paid.
Yeah, he apparently got paid December 23rd. That's what.
But, shocker of shocks, Matt Riddle didn't realize when he got a piece of paper in his hand.
And maybe it was maybe it was a direct deposit. He just didn't notice. He just didn't notice that it came through.
I was going to say something, but I'm going to just shut my mouth. Tenrisa sent a super chat saying, I'm off base that I don't want rap and I want rock. There's so much hip hop now, and I love Reg, but damn, rock is missing in mainstream wrestling right now. Well, if you listen to former Kiss bassist Gene Simmons, rock is dead and has been dead for the last 15 years. So maybe that's why. Here's the thing. I don't really care as long as the theme fits the production. And Pointer Sisters, we can all agree, didn't fit whatever they were trying to do for Dynamite. It should be something upbeat, but also a little heavy. And you could do that with hip hop. You could do that with rap. You could do that with rock. You just need something that fits the vibe of the product you're putting out there. When Swerve was your guy and Swerve is, putting out hip hop songs, hip hop records, you can use a hip hop song because he's the guy up front in your promotion. So you can kind of use that synergy. When, I made the joke about Jericho, but when like Jericho's your top guy and Jericho's in a hard rock band, you put out some hard rock as your theme music because that puts forth what your main character's whole gimmick is. It's all about the presentation of your product. So right now, what is the presentation of their product?
It should be a Fozzy song.
I said that. It should be it's probably going to end up being a Fozzy song. Just get a Nickelback song. It's fine.
Just Duck McKagan joke of the week. That's a theme song.
That's it. That's it. And then the crowd laughs, and that's how we open up Dynamite. Dynamite is now filmed in front of a live studio audience. There's some good options here in the chat. I appreciate you all, but I don't know what they're gonna do. We'll see because they played the old theme in the background while they did the intro this week, which is typically what they do anyway. They don't play. We made the joke like they're not gonna do a look back at the Ricochet heel turn while they're playing the Pointer Sisters in the background, right? And we did a whole short over it. Instead, they'll find an actual theme that they can use that they could, use as a primary theme for the opener, and then they have a secondary theme in the background. Yeah, so I something's going to change. It just feels like it'll change. I just don't know to what.
I don't know if they're going to change it or not, honestly. Like, they'll probably just keep it. And hopefully they do keep it. Don't be cowardly.
Would be funny. Let Harley Cameron do the theme.
Oh, that would rule.
She's the one. She is the one who should be given all the money to do all the things. And she can perform it live with her ventriloquist dummy. She's got 3 arms, right? 2 for guitar, 1 for her.
3 arms. What?
Yeah, 2 for the guitar, 1 you got to fret, you got to play the thing, and then you need a 3rd arm to control the ventriloquist dummy.
Oh.
This is what we got to tell him. We got to at Tony Khan and Harley Cameron to do a theme for Dynamite. Or just get Queen Don't Stop Me Now. That's actually a pretty good shout. We'll do that. It's fine.
I thought we were moving away from 80s songs. What are we doing here?
You never really truly get away from 80s songs. You know this.
Fair.
Just do Scissor Sisters, Take Your Mother Out All Night. We've been talking about it enough. It should happen. I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm not going to do this. Your wife told me about the other version of the song for your wedding, your first dance. There's a Better Than Ezra version?
That's the original version, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Better Than Ezra rules.
Yeah, that's the original version. I think we played it at the wedding still. Like, we played that version too, and we danced to that. But the first dance song was the Taylor Swift version. So we met in the middle on that one. I obviously wanted a Taylor Swift song, and she probably rightfully so didn't want a Taylor Swift song, but she agreed to the Taylor Swift version of Breathless.
It's the answer. Cyclops better than
it's a slower version too. So
yeah, it worked for what you guys were trying to accomplish. Yeah. It worked for, guess what? The vibe of your presentation. Look at that. We're back. Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Donates super chat, says, why does TK only use music from 35 to 40 years ago? So there's a possibility that he just says, this is the music I like. This is the music our fan base therefore likes. This is when music was best. So this is what we're going to use. And it's as easy as that. He loves stuff from the 80s, but someone's got to tell him this isn't exactly it.
It gets weird. It was a weird song. We talked about it last week, but just go with it. Just
lean into it. Tenruza saying, Ladies and Gentlemen by Saliva would be good. That's a good song. I like that song. It was a WrestleMania theme at one point.
Yeah, I was about to say, they used that for something.
Yeah. We have not heard about his love for Time Cop. What is that? Please enlighten us, Love Wrestling.
That should be the theme song.
It should be
Time Cop of the theme song.
We just find the theme from Time Cop.
That's what they should use.
So Time Cop, and I just can't Time Cop. That's it. Let's get it on. That's not Marvin Gaye. That's Al Green. Unless I'm thinking of a different song. I'm thinking of Al Green. Al Green has a different song I'm thinking of.
Down with the Sickness is good. For the sickos, I actually like that. That could work.
Maybe.
Ah,
Oh,
goes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Get up, get down with the sickness. Get up, get down with the sickness. It's the only part I know.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Baby Shark, Xeno Hour gets it. Yeah, you got it. Listen, there are enough people exposing their underage children to this stuff. They do a track from John Cena's album. I spent 30 minutes talking about music with y'all, and I haven't told you to leave a thumbs up yet. So how about you do that? Leave a thumbs up on the video, a like, if you will. Toss that like, and something will pop up on your algorithms here. And also, you can subscribe to the channel because we love you and you love us, right? This is your favorite thing. This is why you come here every morning, is because you love us. Why did they come to our concert? Just to boo us? You don't. I was saying boo earns. And you can donate a super chat like some of our friends already have here. YouTube.com/FightfulOverbooked. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. I love it. They should make the new AEW Dynamite theme song "Be a Man, Hulk."
Oh, that would rule. That would rule. And the Savage Estate. I don't know who the Savage Estate is at this point, but the Savage Estate also gets paid off of that. Hopefully, they get some money off of that. That'd be good.
I'm all for it. We should do it. Do a puddle of mud. She hates me, says the anonymous ITW general manager.
Oh, that's a weird choice, but sure.
She hates me. La 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 la. Took my feelings and anyway. Yeah, she took my feelings and she something like I had none and let them away. Anyway, Cycle is better than Wolverine singing pointer systems are for the sickos. They get it. If Tony said that, I would actually laugh in a press conference setting.
It should be a dance song. Yeah, imagine just Baby Shark playing during Anarchy in the Arena. It should be like a good little dance song that they could do. What if it's what's the name of that stupid song? Right foot just stop. Bah! Left foot just stop. Bah! Bah! That song. That should be the theme song. Now, slide to the left. Slide to the right. Take it back now, y'all. The cha-cha slide. That's what it's called.
Yeah, cha-cha slide. Oh, that sounds awful. So Ken Bruno's talking about the last 40 seconds of Defying Gravity from Wicked. Defying Gravity to me is a song by Mr. Big, so it should be a Mr. Big song. It should be 1992 by Mr. Big.
The only Mr. Big song I know is Be With You. That's them, right?
So listen to the song 1992 because the song 1992 is about the song Be With You.
Oh, okay.
Both by Mr. Big, and then 1992 is about how that song changed their entire career trajectory.
I respect that they just wrote a song about their own song. Yeah.
The chorus is actually really funny. I gotta look it up so I get it right. Mr. Big, 1992. It's thought about a girl that I once knew, put her in a song with some greens and blues. That's the song. It's in there. Wore somebody's shirt that I didn't choose because in the video he wore a band t-shirt that MTV wanted him, the label wanted him to wear. But the fans were screaming, so I couldn't refuse. Record company said to us, "Thank you, man." Then they threw us right into the garbage can. But the good people listened, the fans, and they pulled us through. I was number one in 1992. Yeah.
I don't know how that works as a theme song for AW, but I could pull it off maybe.
Dude, Paul Gilbert rules, by the way. Amazing guitar player. And then you've got Billy Sheehan playing bass guitar, who plays like he's playing guitar. And Eric Martin's a great singer. And we lost Pat Pat's last name. Pat Torpe. We lost him a few years ago, but they've had a couple guys sit in. But anyway, Mr. Big no longer exists, but they did rule. Go check them out. All right. 1985 by Bowling for Soup, says Drew. I don't know about that.
The Macarena.
The Macarena playing during
just everybody doing the Macarena to start. And that'd be good, man. The crowd would be super into that, I'm for that.
I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that would work. Pony by Genuine. Could you imagine? Pow, pow, pow. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AEW Dynamite. Pow, pow. Someone's gonna have sex in the middle of the ring.
That would be great. It'd bring back the dancers for that. What TNA had the cage dancers? That was a thing for a little while.
Do I remember that? Do Sandstorm by Darude. Oh God. There's some pretty awful ideas in the chat. Thank you for those. Pony is Dana Garcia's theme. That's true. It's true. That was a thing for a while. He was using that on the indies.
Uh,
Lawrence. By the way, happy belated birthday, Lawrence. Just like Yakety
happy
Sax.
belated, Lawrence.
That'd be great.
It's been Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah, then they got to do the dance too.
Yeah, there you go. It works in 2 levels. Fat and Biff Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Fat and Biff Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Fat and Biff Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Anyway, speaking of redneck themes, AEW was in Clarksville, Tennessee last night or 2 nights ago. That was a good show. There was a lot of really good stuff there. There was some stuff that wasn't so great, but otherwise, what do you think overall of the show? Kenny Omega's back. He showed up in real form, not on a screen, and he now has one thing that his biggest weakness is a tummy punch. You punch him in the tum and he goes down like a sack of bricks. I actually thought that
match. I realized it wasn't 50 minutes. He did a 30-minute match. Yeah, I think his stomach's okay.
I know Henry was there live and said it was a good it was the moment of his life seeing Omega live, and seeing Omega live, that's also a pretty good deal. But yeah, no, I liked Kenny coming back. I liked the promo that he cut because it was a little different from what we've seen out of Kenny for the last little while. It was serious, but it was still mission statement, and it was a little over the top, which was perfect. I liked it. Don Callis coming out and Kenny immediately just going after him once Callis said, "Oh, you're still alive," and that was it. There was some good stuff here, but in the end, Kenny, Will Ospreay standing face to face in the ring. Will Ospreay did come out to save Kenny as he was getting beat down by the Don Callis family, and he says, "I saved your ass, bruv." And Kenny just stared at him and said, "My tummy hurts." And now those two are probably going to have a little bit of story moving together, at least for the next few months. What do you think? Kenny's back, but he's not going after the title yet.
Okay. Let me nitpick for a second.
All for it.
Remember Collision like a month or so ago when Darby Allin was like, "Hey, man, we got to fight for the soul of AEW. Look what they're doing. Look what the Death Riders are doing. They're going to ruin this tournament. They're going to ruin AEW." And Will Ospreay is like, "Oi, bruv, right now the tournament is the most important thing. I got to focus on the tournament. But don't worry, after the Continental Classic, bruv, I'll be there in the foxhole with you. If you need me, I'll be there, bruv." What happened to Darby Allin? He got tossed down some steps, and he might be dead. Who knows? We haven't heard from him. I know they played a video package, but he might be dead. Then what's Will Ospreay doing on Dynamite? He faces Buddy Matthews. He's like, "Hey, bruv, if you need some friends, let me know. If you need to stand on your own, you can stand on your own. You don't need House of Black. But if you need a tag team partner, bruv, let me know. I got your back." And then what happens at the end of Dynamite? Kenny Omega comes out. He's fighting the Don Callis family. And who's there to save him? "Oi, bruv, it's Will Ospreay. I'm here. I got your back, Kenny. I got problems with the Don Callis family, too." Let me tell you something, Will Ospreay. William Ospreay.
Billy.
A wise woman once said, "A friend to all is a friend to none." You should stop being friends to all. Start getting your priorities straight, bruv. What are you Googling?
You know, there was another friend that said, or another wise poet that said, "A friend in need's a friend indeed, but a friend with weed is better."
What is that? Who said that?
That's Placebo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was quoting a Taylor Swift song.
Well, I figured you were. That's why I brought up a Placebo song.
Okay. I think it was probably some I guarantee Taylor Swift was not the first person to say "a friend to all is a friend to none." It's probably some famous saying by somebody, but I'm going to attribute it to Taylor Swift. It's funner that way.
Yeah, the line was probably written by like 20 other people in her camp.
Yeah, well,
everyone gets a cut that way. It's 20 songwriters, one song. I get where you're coming from. I have feelings. Again, going back to all of the Death Rider stuff, there's just been a lot of weird explanations for things. But at least with Kenny, there's history going back to Will and the Don Callis family, and there's history with Kenny and Will. They have to eventually explain and play onto it. This is the introduction to it. So I didn't want Excalibur to be like, oh, remember all the times in New Japan or the Forbidden Door match or this and that. Like they've been around each other, but they haven't been really face to face in a couple of years. So for Will to come back and be on Kenny's side, like it makes sense, but they're apprehensive partners for now. That's fine for me. Kenny, I know a lot of people were kind of advocating for Kenny to immediately catapult himself to the front of the line.
Yeah, I'm people.
You are people, yes. And you know what? I agreed with it to a point. I'm willing to wait until Cope gets taken care of, and that'll probably be Revolution. And then what's the pay-per-view after Revolution? That's going to be May afterwards, right? So unless they do Dynasty this year.
I assume they're going to do Dynasty this year. Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. They just haven't. I know they haven't announced it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. But maybe they'll start that ascent after Revolution, which is fine. Kenny kind of standing tall in a big match at Revolution can kind of get us closer to wanting Kenny to be the champion, and that's fine by me. But for now, it's another one of those Don Callis family are the only ones that get fully booed on AEW programming. So we're going to catapult, or not catapult, we're going to cement Kenny Omega as the number one babyface, and this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to put him against someone that you like a little bit more, so maybe you'll cheer one versus the other. No, we want you to 100% cheer for Kenny, and then we move on from there. And the Don Callis family is really the only grouping of people where you get that, at least with Brian Cage and Lance Archer. Protostar is a little, we'll see. He's the prototype of a star.
Aside from wanting Kenny Omega to jump into the world title picture. Aside from that, like I think him going after Don Callis was a good first start. I do think that.
Yeah, and now we have again. Will has been that other white meat baby face this entire time that Kenny's been gone. On top of that, you've got the Australia show coming up. Most people have kind of surmised that you put Kenny on that show. Maybe it's a team with Will Ospreay against members of the Don Callis family. You've got Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, or maybe you bring in Mark Davis, make it a trios match with him, with Davis joining the Kenny Omega side. There's ways to make that work in the interim and in the short term, because you've got that Australia show to build in some way, shape, or form. And it's not a big show. It was touted as a big event until people realized where it's going to be, the time it's going to air, and what's really important. And that is Revolution. Revolution will be a pay-per-view 2 weeks later. So AEW's put more emphasis on that than they have to what's going on with Grand Slam Australia. So that's fine with me. It's a good little intro for Kenny. We do need to hear like the story of Kenny Omega up until now. Like there will eventually need some sort of hype for those who are like, everyone should, if you're watching AEW, you should probably know who Kenny is, but let's assume that there are some new viewers. They haven't seen Kenny. They only have heard of Kenny. Catch him up a little bit, at least with the history of Kenny in AEW or the history of Kenny in New Japan. Get him excited to want to continue cheering for Kenny Omega.
Sorry, Vince McMahon just put out a statement.
Oh, that's right, because the amended thing was coming out today. Oh, no, that's the 15th. Huh, interesting. Vince McMahon was fined $400,000 by the SEC, ordered to reimburse WWE for an additional $1.3 million. And there is a statement involved as well.
Vince says, so here's the statement. The case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and that the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put this all behind me. So the SEC payments is closed. I don't think that there's anything's closed on federal investigation. Certainly not Janelle Grant's lawsuit.
From the Post Wrestling article, McMahon's representatives have not yet responded to a follow-up question from Post Wrestling regarding whether McMahon denies being under investigation by the Southern District of New York for sex trafficking and sexual assault claims. Post Wrestling has also requested comment from Janelle Grant's representatives. So it sounds like the SEC stuff is closed.
Yes, but Vince is making it seem like everything is closed.
I mean, that's kind of what he wants people who are just reading it to look at it as.
Yeah.
Until there's some sort of confirmation that everything is done, I am going to assume that not everything is finished in that lawsuit.
Yeah. I don't think the Janelle Grant case is closed at all.
No, and again, the way that he says it is or the way that his team says it, today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. So it makes me feel like whatever's going on with the Janelle Grant case, that's still ongoing, of course. They're going to refile in 5 days with new motions, apparently. And yeah, we'll see what's going on with the Southern District of New York case as it pertains to sex trafficking. Stay tuned. That's all I can say. Stay tuned. He's paid back a lot of money. There's that. He's going to have to.
Back.
He hasn't paid it back. He says he's going to have to pay it back. Yeah, $400,000 by the SEC was the fine and ordered to reimburse WWE for an additional $1.3 million.
And we'll see. Again, he paid back the money. I don't think anything is settled or any of the stuff when it comes to the allegations with Janelle Grant have been settled at all, and they shouldn't be.
Yep, we'll keep updates, and you'll be seeing them from us, and you'll be seeing them on Fightful. So there you go. A lot of people are posting it. All I can ask is just read it and think about it. Don't just read it. Don't just post it and think everything's over, because I'm seeing a lot of that right now. People just saying, oh, or just posting it and then letting it go. It's not an engagement gimmick. Think about what's going on.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Kenny Omega.
Well, sorry, we got derailed, folks. When something breaking major like that happens, we do have to cover it because that is part of the gig on the air as well. Kenny's back. Kenny's here. Kenny's tummy hurts. He's going to have a match against the other Machine at Maximum Carnage next week. What do you think of the labeling of the Machine versus the Best Bout Machine next week in Cincinnati?
Oh, it's fine. I mean, Brian Cage is a nice opponent for Kenny Omega and his return to AEW. Brian Cage does a lot of cool stuff. He'll make Kenny look good. Kenny will make him look good. I mean, I think Kenny should just go in there and V-trigger and one-winged angel and just destroy him. But I said Takeshita should have done that a year ago against, maybe 2 years ago at this point, against Brian Cage. And people were like, well, no, you got to like protect Brian. Like, why? You're not going to do anything with Brian Cage. He's a good wrestler who loses the majority of time you see him on AEW television. I don't think this should be a 50-50 match. It probably will be. But I know that Brian Cage just won the $100,000 like high speed collision thing as well. Like they give Brian Cage enough to where I understand it being a 50-50 thing. I'd probably make this more of like 70-30 though, maybe even more 80-20. Like I'd present Kenny Omega as Kenny Omega, but they're going to tell the story of like, oh, Kenny's not fully back yet. He's got the health issues. And so it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good match. I would probably just have Kenny like look stronger than trying to have him fight underneath it so much.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. From there, I'm sure there'll be some sort of they'll finish the match and then there'll be a beatdown and then they'll do some sort of reestablishment of Ospreay and Omega being friends or having to be friends again. That's fine. Again, I'm waiting until after Revolution for Kenny. It's merging him back into traffic, and I hope that they decide to really go full bore with Kenny, which we've talked about, just to get through the stuff with Adam Copeland, Cope, and Moxley. Speaking of Cope, we're going to talk about that promo.
Sure.
Cope comes out, and I didn't like this promo. There are a few reasons why I didn't. And I know that we don't like to. I know that we rip on Cope a lot. I try not to because he's Canadian and I like my Canadian wrestlers. But he comes out and he's talking about all of these things that have happened to him in his life and his injuries and how he's always come back for them. Who decided that that was a good idea when Kenny Omega was coming back from another very important, big injury and having like a similar, not similar, but like you're making Copeland have to play, I broke my neck and I came back and then I jumped off the top of a cage and I broke my leg, but I still wrestled. It doesn't fit when you know Kenny's going to come back and give this heartfelt promo about having to check himself into the hospital, take out 2 feet of intestine. He's almost died, blah, blah, blah. It didn't work. And then on top of it, he's like, you took out my friends. You did this, you did that. But the biggest mistake you made was bullying FTR. And I'm like, they tried to kill 2 other people. They tried to kill Brian and they tried to kill Darby. It was a very...
Chuck Taylor.
And Chuck Taylor. Hey, he's fine. He doesn't... Cope doesn't know who Chuck Taylor is. It was a very like, what are we doing here promo. It wasn't very good. They're clearly leading to the Mox and Cope match. Sure. I guess now it's going to happen at Revolution and not at Grand Slam Australia. But maybe it will, but I doubt it because the Maximum Carnage match we know is the Casino Gauntlet winner, and that's Powerhouse Hobbs. It wasn't a very good promo from Cope. And then they had to do all the schmaz with everyone coming out, FTR coming out, the Death Riders coming out, Powerhouse Hobbs coming out. It just wasn't very good.
You know what? You pointed this out before, but it was super noticeable. That shirt with
awful.
I had to ask the wife. I'm like, is that how you spell legend? Is that like the Canadian spelling of legend? And she's like, no, it's Edge. And I'm like, oh, that's dumb. That's really dumb. And she's like, yeah, if you don't notice that it's Edge, because it's all the same lettering. It's not like they make the Edge stand out in it. It all just looks, it's all printed and stylized the same. It's such a dumb shirt. I actually didn't get much of his promo because I was so focused on this terrible shirt that they had. I was like, why do you go out there with this? Why do you make this?
They just think it's tongue-in-cheek and cute, but like, go with one thing. Is he Cope? He's not Edge because you don't have the IP, and you're not calling him Adam Copeland. Just Cope. Cope. Do the Obama 2008 shirt, but do Cope and just do that. Rip that off. It was very strange. I don't like it.
As far as the promo goes, I don't want to rip on Cope more than I already do. No, yes. Like it wasn't for me. That's what I'll keep saying with this. Like, none of this is for me. It's just not. Like, I don't have any interest in Cope as the world title challenger. I don't have any interest in him doing this whole I came back from this and I came back from that and all the like, all right, like it's an inspiring story. I like this TNT title run. I can fully admit that. It's just not a guy I want to see in the title picture. It's just not. He's not bad. I'll never say Cope is like a bad wrestler or that his promos are like, I'm not a fan of his promos. I don't think they're genuinely bad promos. They just don't hit with me. Oh, this promo was another one that just didn't hit with me. Again, when you got people like you mentioned, Kenny Omega's coming back from everything, and then Kenny Omega has a great match against Gabe Kidd that they can't talk about. Will Ospreay has all these great matches. They have so many great wrestlers. Cope going out there and saying, I'm this old dude who's been injured a bunch and I'm kind of broken down, but here I am fighting for AEW. Like, it's just not for me.
King Patate points it out perfectly. It was an inspiring story 5 years ago when he came back to wrestling. When he showed up at the Royal Rumble and everyone was like, well, first of all, everyone who knew, we already knew, right? The reports have been out there and he was like, I am not and I'm still not. And we're like, okay, buddy. And then he showed up and it was a big moment. People were excited. And like Edge coming back to wrestling after being out for 9 years was a big deal. Now it's just, all right, Cope, you've been doing this for the last 5 years. You've been on TV. You've main evented a WrestleMania. You've had cage matches. You've done shit. This doesn't matter anymore. It was also really weird for him to pick, I had a match with Eddie Guerrero and I broke my neck. And then like 25 years later, I had a match against Malakai Black where I broke my leg and I still came back, or I still wrestled the match. It was very strange, him trying to use that amount of time. Don't know what he was doing.
Again, to me, he's just saying like, I'm old and I've been very injured throughout my career. Like, it's inspiring that he's there and he's still wrestling and he's, wants to wrestle and he wants to be full time and everything. Like, more power to him on that. It's just, it's not fully dissimilar to Danielson, because Danielson was a lot of, my neck's in bad shape. Like, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to continue. It just isn't something that hits me with me like Danielson does. I think Danielson just delivers it in a better way and connects it in a better way than Copeland does. Sorry.
Danielson was also just synonymous with wrestling. Cope is synonymous with WWE because we've talked about it before. He's done WWE exclusively for 25 years before making the jump to AEW. And like the biggest catalyst for doing that was because his buddies in FTR had moved over and he was ready to move on too and try something else. So him being this rah AEW guy feels disingenuous to me. Every time he talks about it, he's just like, are you a fan of AEW or are you a fan of your best pals who have been here for 5 years? Like, what's the connection here?
I don't think it's disingenuous, honestly. Like, I don't, because he did it was after the Punk
where he came
right?
out,
where he came out. Yeah. Like, I think he truly does like AEW and that he's happy to be there and he feels a sense of pride with AEW. I truly I do think that, is he the guy to deliver all of that after being in WWE for so long? I don't know. Like, it's really less for me. It's less about all of that. It's really less about the rah AEW stuff. It's more about like, I just don't have an interest for him in the title picture, in the world title picture, where this whole thing was supposed to be. Guys need to step up. Young guys need to step up. This company is not what it used to be. And we've just sort of lost all of that. It's like the guys who are stepping up it was at first, it was Garcia and Private Party. And it's like, yeah, these are guys who you want to see get more TV time because it does feel like they've been a little bit underutilized. And they won titles and they're kind of doing stuff with the titles. I mean, Private Party now is just, they're having whatever feuds on Collision, and now I don't like their chances against the Hurt Syndicate, but we'll see. Daniel Garcia is having good matches and having good showing, so good on him. But it became less about stepping up to Jon Moxley and just more about like other ventures for them. And it's like now the guy stepping up is Cope at FTR, and it's like these guys aren't hurting for being featured. They're not hurting for television time. They're not guys who it's like, oh yeah, these are the guys that AEW was built around and who need to step up 5 years in. It's like, no, like these guys are former champions. FTR is always claiming to be the greatest tag team of all time. Cope is a legend with a D. Like, I just feel the storyline's gotten so muddied and almost wasteful. And Cope is not the guy that I want to see in this spot. I don't think it's bad. Like, I don't think the material is bad. I don't think the matches are going to be bad. It's just not my personal choice. But hey, if, other people are happy with it and it's going well, which that's to the eye of the beholder, then, they'll continue to go with it.
My feeling, just like yours, was Cope and FTR going after the trios titles. Absolutely, do that. Get the trios titles off of the Death Riders. Move it on to FTR and Cope. Let them do whatever they're going to do against whoever they're going to do it with, and let it move on. This is funny. Like, I know Henry, we all like to mess around and make fun of it. Like, saying Joel really dislikes Cope. I went out of my way to go to that last SmackDown where he had the match against Sheamus. Like, that show in Toronto was sold out, and we called in favors so that I could go to that show. I really do like Adam Copeland. I really do like Edge, Copeland, whatever he's going to call himself this week, to the point where, like, I've gone out of my way to watch him in these matches. The episode of Raw where Johnny Gargano came back, and, like, out of nowhere, that was in Toronto, and that was also headlined by Copeland and, oh my God, it was the I Quit match. I can't remember if it was Damian Priest or Finn, but either way, like, that was another big Copeland match where he came out and, like, had his moments. I went to Unforgiven 06. Why am I trying to justify this? My point is, like, I like Edge, I like Copeland. I don't like what they're doing with him right now, and I don't like him coming out and effectively undercutting, or not willingly, not knowingly undercutting the Kenny Omega promo and how emotional it's supposed to be by telling the stories of how many times he's been injured and gotten back. Well, Kenny's story right now is, I just got injured to the point where I almost died, but I came back. I'm looking for something else out of Cope. That's all. And Jeremy seems to be as well, where he's not in the world title.
No, me, I've always been a Cope hater.
That's true. You do hate him. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if I'm going to quote pick a lane, then it's going to be Cope and FTR going after the trios titles. And then the Kenny story will eventually lead to Moxley and the Death Riders, I hope. But first, right now with Kenny, I'm fine with the way that they're telling the story to start with the Don Callis family. Just going back to that conversation. So we'll see where it goes. You've got a number one contender. Speaking of the world title, got Powerhouse Hobbs comes out, wins that whole thing. Lots of people in it, including Wheeler Yuta and not Double J. We'll talk about him in a second. He showed up, but he didn't get to actually compete in the match. And this was a fine Casino Gauntlet match. It went on longer than normal, which I appreciated. More guys, more random ass people. No big surprises. A lot of people were thinking about Speedball Mike Bailey coming out, but nope, not to be the case. Powerhouse Hobbs gets the win. What'd you think?
Powerhouse Hobbs made a lot of sense. And, I thought Brody King, who wasn't even in the thing, was going to win because he made sense as like a 1 week kind of challenger. Powerhouse Hobbs is basically that. But there's more to the story with Powerhouse Hobbs because of the injury that occurred when he faced Moxley last time. So that made a lot of sense for him winning. I liked his promo after the match, saying he's going to make Moxley his bitch, telling that to Moxley's wife. And then when he saved Cope from the attack, like they did a good job getting as much heat on the match as they could with essentially a 1 week build. So look, Hobbs made a lot of sense. Casino Gauntlet is always fun. They told a couple different stories during it, certainly with Ricochet and Swerve and using the theme and everything. I thought that was good. And the stuff with Hangman, him and Jay White kind of continuing everything there. Thought that made some sense. So yeah, Casino Gauntlet's always good. They always do a good job of kind of blending stuff into that and telling multiple stories coming out of that. I was a little curious that like Will Ospreay wasn't in this thing. I know he did the match with like Buddy Matthews, and it felt like that's why they did the Buddy Matthews match, is so they were like, hey, this is Will's match for the night. He's not going to be in the Casino Gauntlet. But to me, I'm thinking, like, why wouldn't Will Ospreay just be like, can I be in the Casino Gauntlet instead? Like, he's always won that thing. He even did like the eyeball emoji on Twitter when they announced the match. So that was the thing, at least with MJF and Jeff Jarrett, like they explained, because you would think MJF would want to be that as well, because he was like, hey, I'm coming after the world title. And then Jeff Jarrett was like, you didn't do that because you were scared and you didn't want to rise to the occasion here. At least they explained through Jeff Jarrett why MJF was not in this. With Will Ospreay, it was less of an explanation and more of a we just booked him in this match instead, and so now he's not going to be in the Casino Gauntlet.
Do you think that Will using the eyes emoji when the match was announced was him just trying to promote it and not know if he was in it? Or do you think he thought he would be in it and he was trying to get those eyeballs going?
I think they knew Powerhouse Hobbs was going to win because I think they knew who they were putting in that spot for Maximum Carnage. I don't think Will was ever going to like win this thing if he was in it. I don't know if Will knew if he was going to be in it or not. I truly think it was him, probably a little bit of both. Probably, yes, promoting it. Probably also thinking like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I've never lost a Casino Gauntlet. I'm going to be in this thing and, this is going to be my shot here. So it was probably a little bit of both. I don't know who knew when they were going to be in it at the time they were, because they didn't announce that Ospreay and Buddy Matthews match until like Tuesday night, maybe. It was Monday night, but it was after Will did the eyeball emoji. So my guess is he figured he was going to be in it. That's just a guess. I have no idea.
I mean, like Kai's saying, he did just do 2 matches in one night.
Yeah. He could. Fun. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like he very well could have done 2 matches in one night. But I do think by booking him for against Buddy Matthews, they were basically saying, yeah, he's not going to be in the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they do try to explain why Will wasn't there. Like you said, they did it with Jeff Jarrett and MJF. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it felt like people were expecting Will because top of the top and his experience in Casino Gauntlets. And instead they didn't. They gave him the opening match. And it's not like he got beat up so bad that he couldn't go. He won the match and he endorsed Buddy Matthews afterwards. It felt like he could go again, spring chicken, but they didn't do it. Instead, they just let it go. But instead, they had Powerhouse Hobbs win the match and he's going to get that title shot, which I'm not angry about. My concern is the similar one to a lot of people, which is he had the match against Takeshita. It was great. He lost. He has this title match coming up. It's going to be great. Don't expect him to win. What happens to Powerhouse Hobbs? Where does he settle after all of this? Because he's proven that he has the tools, he has the ability, he has a crowd behind him. But every time something starts, something else gets pushed back with him. So I'm curious as to what happens with his placement after this match.
Well, he was injured a lot of last year, so I can't really hold that against him or the company. They got a lot of guys. They got a lot of guys who are primed for a singles push. They got the titles to supplement the majority of people, the majority of feuds, but are they going to do that? Like, I'm still waiting for Daniel Garcia to kind of establish a feud with something. I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah. Someone's saying it's for a title shot on TV. Will Ospreay is a pay-per-view level opponent. Ospreay would take a title shot wherever you give it to him. That's kind of where my brain is. Should we talk about MJF and Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, you look like you were paying attention to something.
Yeah.
We'll get there. I promise, folks. This is the fun of having a busy day. There you go. Apparently, there's some news coming from PW Insider about a TNA contract being extended. We'll work to figure that one out. They're usually pretty good when it comes, especially when it comes to TNA. So allegedly, the reporting is Nick Nemeth in TNA with a contract extension. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised. Just have him lose the belt in 2 weeks. That's my only concern. No more JBL. I do like what they're doing with Ryan Nemeth, though. They turned him into a real piece of shit, and it's perfect. My brother. It's very funny.
Okay. Real quickly, Matthew was saying, Daniel Garcia was saying he wants to do open weekly challenges.
Yep.
They do that all the time, or at least they used to with the TNT title. It feels like just too much of a weak crutch of like, oh, I'm just gonna go out here and just do open challenges. Like Copeland was doing that last year when he was the champion, the Cope Ope. Like they just, I know that's sort of an established thing because of Cody. And so they've just kind of always done that with the TNT title. I would just like them, just give me a good feud, give me a good story. I don't need I don't need them doing open challenges out
You
there.
had
Like I
the
didn't.
tease. Sorry, I was gonna say you had the tease of doing Shelton and Daniel Garcia. They haven't really pulled the trigger on that either.
Yeah, I didn't like the stuff with Mark Briscoe because it felt weird. I didn't mind Mark Briscoe being the challenger. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like Garcia. He's saying he wants open challenges, but then when Mark Briscoe does an open challenge, basically Garcia's like, I don't know, buddy. Like maybe we don't do that. So it just feels like, I don't know about the open challenge. Like it's fine, but I think you can do more with the title. It just feels like you could do more.
Yeah, and again, this comes down to, if you're going to have all the titles, there should be an established relevance of which title is most important to which one is, what's your mid card, what's your low card, what is the importance of each title. And if you're shifting them back and forth, you got to at least make it known where the importance is. They haven't done that yet, but with the TNT title, the Continental title, the International Championship, those guys haven't been on TV yet either. Takeshita and like with title matches, DG had the title match on Saturday. We haven't seen Okada since World's End, except for when he showed up on the Wednesday doing a walk-in. And yeah, Takeshita hasn't been either around.
The Okada thing, like they're trying to make a big deal out of that. I wish they would make a bigger deal.
Well, they did, and then Chris Charlton got suspended for it. Which, by the way, I don't think, if you're okay, there were some things that he said that people were like, that's too far, and I agree. But him being like, trying to basically alluding to the Continental Classic not being as important as the G1, even though AEW is trying to make it sound like it is comparable, he was right about that. The G1 is a much more important professional wrestling tournament than the C2. Like, let's not get it twisted. I found it funny. Of all the things he got in trouble for, that's the one where it's like, he's got a good point, Sting.
The G1 is more important than the C2. It just is. No knock on the Continental Classic. Like, it was a very good tournament this year. It was a very good tournament last year. The G1 is a more grueling tournament. It is. There's no real argument against that. This year, the Continental Classic maybe felt a little bit more grueling than last year because of the timing being on Christmas and New Year's, and they taped like so many shows consecutively, where I don't feel like they did that last year. But when it comes to like overall, like the G1 lasts about a month, but there's so many matches in that month. Like the Continental Classic lasts a month, but it's 5. Like there's 6 people in each bracket, so it's 5 round robin matches, and then the 2 semifinals. The G1 is at least 8 people. Sometimes there's even more than that, depending on how they like decide to do the brackets and everything. Like it's way more. It's just way more matches in total. And not only that, like those guys are wrestling. I know they take it easy on it, but like they're wrestling those undercards as well. Again, I know they're just like tag team matches and it's whatever. Like they're wrestling those undercards on when they're not wrestling on the singles matches that night. So like that you got to factor that into it as well. I just want them to make a bigger deal out of the C2 though. Like Okada should probably be on television and just doing something. I don't know what you do. Like I think as Okada's character would seem like he would do a celebration type thing. I know you don't want to go too into that because Mercedes does a celebration after every victory, so you don't want to hold like too many celebrations. But like it feels like you should just do a little bit more with Okada to highlight that he won this tournament and like have him appear on TV. Like they did a video package last week. It was nothing this week. Like we're 2 weeks after the Continental Classic, and you almost forgot that Okada even won the thing because they didn't follow it up with, hey, remember this dude won this really grueling tournament and beat Will Ospreay and beat Ricochet? Put some notoriety on that.
I'm sure by May we will. Maybe June. I like the idea of Okada coming in and being like, Kazuchika Okada, you have a match tonight. Is it part of a tournament? It is not. And then I do not have a match tonight. And he just walks out of the building. I am the greatest tournament wrestler ever. I will only wrestle in tournaments. And let that be the entire Kazuchika Okada AEW run. That's perfect. Kaza saying, in my opinion, the C2 was underwhelming this year. At least someone else had said that it was better organized this year. Delayed Gratz saying that in the chat. So a little bit of difference there in opinion. I didn't hate the C2. I think, Jeremy, kind of like you were alluding to, a lot of tape shows to me almost took away from some of the importance of the C2, because when you know what show is taped, maybe you're not paying as much attention to it. So maybe you're just not as invested into it. Whereas last year it wasn't as much. I enjoyed the C2 this year. I didn't really, I don't know how to make, I don't know how to put this into words, but they didn't emphasize Okada until the end because they wanted to put Okada on like every other show for whatever reason. And it just kind of, he existed, and then he had those great matches at the end of the at the end of the tournament, and now he's got the title. Maybe that's why it's underwhelming to some, because they haven't followed up on it at all. And like the hindsight is, all right, it just existed, and that's it.
I thought the matches were great. It started off a little slow, as a lot of tournaments kind of. The G1 actually, like, they kick off really hot with night one, and you get like the upset on night one and everything. I thought it was definitely, somebody said it was more organized. Like I fully agree with that. It felt like there was more of a plan of what they were going to do with everything. Not to say that it wasn't there last year, but this year they kind of hit more story beats of, oh, Ospreay is kind of fighting from underneath and this needs to happen. Darby is fighting from underneath and this needs to happen. Okada gets the tie against Garcia. Like, is Okada going to lose? Fletcher being such a dominant force in the tournament. Like, I thought the story beats were really good this year. I didn't have a problem with the C2 at all this year. The taped shows, yeah, because the final night of round robin, like, we knew on Sunday, because that was taped on Sunday. So you knew going into that Wednesday show what was already kind of going to happen, as far as, like, it does take away a little bit of the intrigue when the spoilers are out there. And like, that's on, you don't have to pay attention to that stuff. You don't want to, but I do. And other people just get very curious and just check.
And it also aired on Christmas Day. So like, yeah, for many, that's a day that you're not necessarily paying attention fully to your television. I think some people are, because you had a whole day with your family and they're just like, get me out of here. But for others, it's like, they're still doing stuff. They're out and about. They aren't paying attention to wrestling or TV. So it does feel a little underwhelming because you're not fully invested at that point.
Yeah. That's fair. And
I will not defend you, Delayed Graps.
Hater.
I will not defend you. Love and pro wrestling.
Not love
don't love wrestling. It. It's garbage. Hate it. Do you think the Ospreay? So this just came to me. Ospreay, for the entirety of the Fletcher and then the C2, he came out in that Venom black and white gear for the entirety of it. And now he's back to the green stuff. He's back to normal Will Ospreay. He's like, exercise whatever demon. Do you think that's part of something for him? Or is he just kind of, was that just, I'm going to have a new toy, bruv, and it's going to come out, it's going to look like this and we're going to love it? Or, what was that? Was that just a beat for him? You didn't notice. You did not notice. You didn't know. I don't think many people did. I think it was just a little cute Easter egg for those who paid attention.
I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention to that.
He should have come out with goat horn for that.
Just felt like he was wearing whatever he wanted to wear.
It was the Punisher. No, it was the goat horn. Should have come out with goat horn theme. Double J, ain't he great? Not enough to win the Casino Gauntlet because he never got a shot. Wheeler Yuta took him out as he was making his entrance, and he didn't ever make it into the match. They ask him in the ring, hey, what's going on there? And then out comes MJF, and that's going to be a feud. MJF lets Double J know that he knows that Jeff's contract is a 1-year talent contract and that Jeff wanted more, but the office said, LOL, no. And I feel like that's a babyface move. But anyway, the point is, it looks like we're going to do Double J and MJF. MJF said, you can get a shot at the title if you bring it to me effectively or help me. Or it was a little convoluted. It wasn't bad. All I could think about the entire time, Jeremy, is you know what this is going to turn into? That we're going to see MJF as a tag team. Ain't they great?
That would rule, actually.
Ain't they better than you?
I'm actually all for this idea of them being a tag team. I actually like that.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
MJF and Jeff Jarrett working together. It's fine. Like I like Jeff Jarrett. Him being in the spot that he's in is a good spot. MJF is a little strange that MJF is like, I'm going after the world title, and then here he comes to like make fun of Jeff Jarrett. Like, dude, if you want the world title, just go after the world title. Again, Jarrett made sense with like, there's a reason, like, why weren't you in the Casino Gauntlet if you care about the world title so much? MJF, I think his part made sense of like why he even bothered to come out and mess with Jeff Jarrett. But like, Jeff Jarrett is going to get a reaction. Jeff Jarrett's going to work a smart match. MJF is going to get a reaction. He's going to work a smart match. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this feud. MJF needs something after the Adam Cole stuff, which, you know, didn't really hit too hard. I don't know if Jeff Jarrett is the play. MJF should be more of their top heel. That's what I'll say. MJF should be more of their top heel. Working with Jeff Jarrett doesn't feel like top heel stuff. When he worked with Will Ospreay, that felt like top heel stuff. I think working with Kenny Omega would feel top heel stuff. Technically, the Death Riders are heels, so I understand why Jeff Jarrett's not there. Working with Swerve would feel like the top heel. Working with Jeff Jarrett just feels like undercard stuff. And I guess that's what they're going for. Because look, Jarrett was on the pre-show last time. As much as Jarrett gets a reaction, because he does, it just feels like a lot of undercard stuff. The Hangman Page stuff was good, but it all just felt undercard. And look, you need stuff on the undercard. There's nothing. That's where Jeff Jarrett probably should be. I'd love him in the world title picture. I'd love if he just won the world title. He should go hit all the Death Riders with guitars. I don't know if that's where MJF should be, though. MJF feels like he should be more as their top level heel.
I don't know how I feel about this yet. It's week 1, and when MJF came out, it was good enough for me to be like, oh, this motherfucker. And that's fine. You know, I don't know what to expect from MJF and Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett is going to be spending the next year trying to climb out of whatever hole he's in of irrelevancy and try to put himself to the point of relevancy so that he gets a world title shot. I don't think Jeff's going to beat MJF unless somebody costs MJF the match and we move on from there. But this felt like the beginning of an actual feud between Double J and MJF. Not a long one, at least I hope not a long one. They could have set this up 2 weeks ago and done it at Maximum Carnage, and that would have been it. But instead, it's going to be, you know, a couple of weeks. Maybe this is an Australia match. It's just a special challenge match in Australia. Double J, big in Australia. They love him there. TNA in Australia, huge moments. And then MJF is MJF. We'll see if he wants to take that flight. I'm just curious as to whether or not they become a tag team, or maybe this was like, we know MJF. I think
they're going to become a tag team.
They should become a tag team. They should.
Look, I'm all for it. I love your idea. I think it's a great idea. I just don't think that's going to happen.
They should be Private Party. They should win the tag titles, carry them forever. That's it. That's the story. Ain't they better than you? Are they in Knoxville? Are they doing an event?
Yeah, they're coming to They're going back to Tennessee pretty soon, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you and I talked about doing the title match for Jeff Jarrett at like Blood and Guts back in Nashville again. I thought that there were some events that were still not announced.
They're in Knoxville. They're in Knoxville on January 22nd.
I see that for Dynamite.
Yeah. So it feels like you can probably do a Jeff Jarrett MJF match there.
Why isn't Jarrett front row center on that graphic? Chris Statlander is front center. It should have been Jarrett.
Chris Statlander won. I was correct about that, by the way.
You were.
Tony Storm was not going to win that match.
Yeah. Tony Storm comes and says there can't be Tony time every time, but there will be a Tony time. It's fine.
She's a rookie, Joel.
Is she going to be? She's still going to be in the gauntlet, though, right? She made it sound like she's not. And I was like, that doesn't feel right just because you lost the match. Everyone else who was in the number one, spot match in the men's side, they all came out. So why wouldn't, well, Swerve didn't. The Swerve is a different situation going on, but like Roderick Strong was there. So why wouldn't Tony Storm be in the match?
I think Tony Storm will be. And
she wins. Yeah, I know Swerve didn't. You just get up to my level. My level of getting back up once I fell down from my own level. Chris wins. She's number one. Who's going to be number two? Julia Hart.
Maybe.
Should be Mercedes Moné. Put her in the Casino Gauntlet. That would be fun.
Swerve wasn't in the men's gauntlet, but he got stabbed by Ricochet, so there was a reason why he wasn't.
Well, his team made an appearance.
Yeah, his team did make an appearance. Camille at number two. Until she just returns.
They would do it.
Man, people looked really dumb thinking that whole thing was leading to a match.
I mean, it still could. We just have no idea.
Big Attack. She's been gone for like a month now.
Yeah, seriously. Whoever took her out must have been really powerful.
Maybe Death
Cargill came back. Maybe Jade Cargill came back to do it.
At least with like the Jade Cargill attack, they made that look good. Like, she was laid out looking like a crime scene dead body pose with the blood on her face and the windshield cracked and everything. Like, they made that look really good. The Camille attack was just like there was a chair on top of her and she was just kind of, ow, I'm hurt.
She fell out of the chair. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
She fell out of the chair and hit her head on the concrete. Bad concussion.
For a long time.
Oh, man. Anyway, speaking of gone for a long time. So we mentioned earlier, Will Ospreay had the opening contest, beat Buddy Matthews in a good spirited contest, calls him Buddy Murphy accidentally after the match, does Will Ospreay. But he basically says, when you're ready to step out of the shadows, I'll be in your corner, bruv. And that's because Fightful Select reported shortly after that match that Malakai Black may very well be done with AEW. Now, it's not confirmed yet, but the belief among AEW talent is that he's finished up. Fightful Select reported that there were option years after 2024. Tony Khan had previously noted that he had Malakai Black under contract until 2027. It's not definitive to say that Black's contract is up or that an option had been declined, picked up, or anything transactional. Malakai is still listed on the AEW website, and he's also booked for a match on January 11th. That's tomorrow, as of this recording, for CCW. So, Malakai Black. No goodbye at Maximum Carnage in front of the theater audience. No big match. No Will Ospreay match. Seems like he may just fade into obscurity. No man is ever truly good, Jeremy. No man is ever truly evil.
He hasn't gone on Instagram yet to clear up this conversation.
Which only adds credence to the reporting, which is my favorite. Like, people are just, has he gone live yet? Has he gone live? He's not live. It might be real. Oh my God.
He's wrestling at a CCW this weekend. Maybe he'll do a promo in the ring after the show. And
some people think that I'm retiring, but no, I'll never retire. I'll see you February 2nd. I'll see you on one of the shows I appear on. Don't know why he's an old mage when he says these things.
I I look forward to a Buddy Matthews, Brody King tag team. I think that's the way forward. You have them dudes, and you just have them run through tag teams. They rule. They're both awesome. Them in the tag team division, I think there's a lot you can do there. Because I don't know how much space there is when it comes to the single stuff. We talked about with Powerhouse Hobbs of like where do you slot him? You already have so many guys in a position that you need to fill. So are you going to elevate Hobbs? Are you going to elevate Buddy Matthews? Are you going to elevate Brody King? Every time Brody King's in a singles match, he steps up and everybody's like, shit, they should do more with Brody King. And then they just really don't. Buddy Matthews, Will Ospreay gave him the endorsement. Everybody's like, they should do more with Buddy Matthews. And I just don't know if they will. They've already got so many guys for these single spots. Where divisions need help right now are the tag and the trios. Well, the trios are kind of out because they're not a trio anymore. The tag, there's plenty of spots there. If your tag team division right now is relying on Top Flight and Action and Andretti and Leo Rush, who are all really good wrestlers. I particularly love Leo Rush. But they have not put any equity into any of these teams. Every time you see them, they're typically getting beat. So there's just not a whole lot of equity into those teams. There's equity in Buddy Matthews and Brody King. These are guys that maybe they don't win a ton of singles matches, although they have with Brody. They've given him some big wins. But they're at least former trios champions who are featured on television, not always just losing on television. The Hurt Syndicate coming out and basically stepping over Private Party. There's plenty of equity in the Hurt Syndicate. Now, should they be in the tag team division is a whole different thing because I don't think the best follow-up of Bobby Lashley dominating Swerve Strickland is going into the tag team division with Shelton Benjamin. Feels like you should elevate Lashley to something better, not drop him down to the tag team division. But if their goal is to elevate the tag team titles and the Hurt Syndicate's the way to do that, then I'm all for it. I think that's a good move off of that. Ed Gray saying, can we say they dropped the ball on the Outrunners? It depends on what you... Go ahead.
Let's pick up the ball in the Outrunners. Who do you team them with? You pick one wrestler that forms a trio with the Outrunners. Who becomes the third? And the Outrunners have a successful trios run. Is there anyone who poses that like old school style? I'm going to pull the roster. Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
Someone who's actually on the roster, signed full time.
Is Ricky Morton might be signed full time. I don't know.
Give him Ricky Starks. That'll be a real good rib for somebody.
What about Big Boom? Big Boom and the Outrunners?
The Outrunners. Okay. Jeff Jarrett, stop it. Jeff Jarrett's
actually good. No, Jeff Jarrett's a good show.
No, stop. Give him Danhausen. Danhausen and the Outrunners, perfect.
Okay.
I'm looking at the roster, and is there anyone that like jumps out as the perfect? Like Speedball and the Outrunners, no. Speedball has more hair on his head than both Outrunners combined. I don't think we could do that. I don't know who would fit in this case with these two guys.
Dustin Rhodes, he's won all these other titles.
That's true. He does keep winning those things. Who else? Miro.
What about Hook?
Yeah, Hook.
The dynamic would be fun.
We were born well before you were. We were a tag team before you were born. There's no one that like jumps off the page as the perfect third to these guys.
Well, because they're unique in what they do. I don't know if you need a perfect third as far as that person fits with them and what they bring. You almost need to go the opposite direction. That's why I think somebody like Hook works, or like Shibata works. Like you need almost a straight man to play with them.
Could you imagine Mark Briscoe with the Outrunners?
Oh, that would rule, actually.
That would be very funny. Conglomeration's dead. Let's face it. Long live the Brisk Outrunners. The Outrunner Co's. Don't put Billy Gunn. Leave Billy Gunn out of this.
But
if someone serious would be hilarious. Just because, yeah, you're right. There would be a like what are you guys talking about? Let's just go win the stupid match. Like, ugh, I hate these guys, but they're really good. Tomohiro Ishii and the Outrunners would be so awful. Let's go.
Ishii loses all the time, so the Outrunners are gonna lose.
Brody King, they break up House of Black. Brody King goes and works with the Outrunners. I like you guys. You like heavy metal? Yeah, we love heavy metal. Pour some sugar. No, not that, you sons of bitch. That'd be perfect.
I get the Outrunners might not be like everyone's cup of tea and everything. I fully understand that. You can't deny the reactions they were getting, though. You just can't deny where they were on the card and like what they were bringing to the table. And again, the reactions that they were getting. So that's where they dropped the ball. It's not like, did they have to put the tag team titles on them? No, it's probably too short after Private Party won the titles, because Private Party didn't need a short reign. That would have been a mistake. But they could have just kind of kept up with them and kept building them and getting them to the point where people wanted them to see them win the tag team titles. Instead, they haven't really been on TV. And when they have, they've just kind of been like, they lost at 0 Hour. They just, they're not, it's not that they're not featured, because they're there, but it doesn't feel like you're actually building anything with them. It just feels like they're there because they'll get you a decent reaction, but the reactions are going to wane unless you give them something substantiable.
Substantiable?
I don't know.
Substantial.
Substantiable.
Substantiable.
Yeah.
It's like Lunchables, but substantial.
Substantiable. Isn't that a word?
It's not a word. No.
I disagree.
Substantial is a word.
Substantiable. Google it.
Substantiable is not a word. Oh my God. What is this shit? Capable of being supported, proven. That's not a word. No, it's, stop it. One look. Bullshit. Oh my God. Merriam-Webster has an actual, okay. It's substantiate plus able.
Yeah. Substantiable.
You just stumbled onto that one. Yeah.
How dare you?
No, it's substantial is the word.
Substantial.
No, what this grammar hour is absolutely awful.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Substantiable.
It's streets ahead. That's substantiable. Like, here we go. Urban Dictionary. It's up there. Substantiable. Worthy of, super or great.
Yes.
But there's no other actual substantiable.
It's a word.
No.
It's a word.
No, it's not. Substantiable is not a word.
It is.
I am not wrong.
Hashtag Joel is wrong. That's right, everybody. Use the hashtag Joel is wrong.
People are menaces, and this is why people think Vince McMahon's deal is completely done. That's why you all think the case is closed, because you don't use your words or your brains.
Not put that on our audience.
Oh, you guys have actually been really good. A lot of people on the internet otherwise have been on that. Our audience has actually been very good.
Yes.
Yeah, Outrunners and Okada, fantastic. Even better than that, the Outrunners and Jack Perry. Jack Perry's going to train the Outrunners.
Okay.
Substantial.
Substantial.
As I said, I thought they would have won the ROH tag belts by now. Well, no, because you gotta let Dustin go to Japan and put them up on the line. And soon he'll actually put the trios belts back on the line, because the Von Erichs are both admitted they signed and also seem to be healthy again.
I had to think of who was the ROH tag team champions. Like, oh yeah,
the other Sons of Texas. It's the Sons of Texas 1 and the Sons of Texas 2, or the Sons of Texas 2 and the Sons of Texas 3, whatever you want to call it. Jack Perry should be with the Outrunners. I'm telling you, man. That's the story. It's substantiable. What's wrong with it? So all of this long ass detour to get back to Malakai Black.
Oh,
is he going back to WWE? What do you think? Do you care? Is a good question. I think he expects a lot.
I don't care. I don't have I've said it many times. The Malakai Black stuff just is not for me. It's just not. Where he fits in WWE, I'm not sure. Like maybe he can do something with Karrion Kross. Triple H liked him in NXT, but that guy isn't the NXT guy anymore. Injuries and age have just kind of caught up, and it happens. It happens in wrestling. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much of an interest in him in WWE because I didn't have much of an interest in him throughout this last bit in AEW. Just this stuff he wants to do isn't my cup of tea.
He should just come out and call out Big E and then have the rest of the roster be like,
that would actually
funny story about that.
That would actually rule. Honestly, if he just comes out and just picks back up with like the Big E stuff, that would actually rule. And then yeah, when New Day have to come and tell him and just like, we've kind of already taken care of him. He's like, oh, anybody else want to knock
a third? He should just ask you guys, does New Day need a third?
House of New Day.
The House of New Day. New Day Black. Wait a minute. Because his name's Aleister Black.
Yeah.
You guys want to be a trio? We'll call it New Day Black.
Yeah.
And then just have Kofi and Xavier look at each other and be like, maybe not. And that's that. Well, time to go find people to knock on my door. And off he goes.
He should go around knocking.
He should.
He should be the one who knocks, you know?
He's got to cook something for it, though.
Cook?
Yeah. If he's going to be the one who knocks, he's got to be cooking. What's he cooking?
What if...
He's now Chef Aleister Black.
No. What if he's fuck, what do you call those people that come to your door and try to sell you shit? Solicitors?
Assholes.
Oh,
solicitors. Yeah. Solicitors.
But what are the Mormons, right? The Mormons?
Well, I mean, they don't come to my door, but sure.
Okay, but that's the people who go around to like door to door and like preach their stuff.
And dum.
Yeah. What if he does that? He's not like Mormon, but he like tries to preach the word of Aleister to people. He just goes up to various locker rooms.
That's the shit he was doing. He was wearing the suit.
Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what I'm trying to think.
He was doing that with the suit and the big fucking glasses in 2021 before he got fired and knocked out Big E the Friday before.
Yeah, but like he should come back just doing that. But now he's going around knocking instead of being like, I'm waiting for someone to knock on my door. He should start just going around knocking on people's doors because nobody's coming to his door. Or, you know what'd be good?
Go ahead.
Someone comes to his door and they knock and he's like, someone has knocked on my door. And he answers it. And it's a flaming bag on his doorstep. And he's like, why is there a flaming bag on my doorstep? I will put this out with my feet. So he stomps on the flaming bag, right? And then there's Shane McMahon in like the bushes and he's laughing. And he's like,
shit poop.
Old Aleister's putting out the flaming bag of shit with his feet. He's got shit on his feet. And then Aleister looks at his feet. He's like, there's poop. There's poop on my feet. And Shane McMahon's cackling. He's calling the shit poop. Take that with your black mass kick. Black ass kick because you got shit on your foot.
Adam Sandler comes back to WWE before appearing once in AEW. Oh, and he's gonna cozy up with Becky Lynch, who had like a 5-second cameo, versus MJF, who had a part in this stupid movie. Oh, it's gonna be hilarious conversation right there. You know what you do? Come and knock on my door. You're gonna do the knock on my door thing. They open the door and it's Aleister Black, but now he's living with the witches with Isla Dawn and Alpha Fire. And now and it's Three's Company, but it's satanic Three's Company.
I'm not mad at that idea. I actually like that.
His wife might take a problem with it though.
Uh,
She'll just block everyone on Twitter. It's okay. We should probably update this. There has been a statement made from Janelle Grant's attorney, Ann Callis. This was Sean Ross Sapp just posted this. It was sent to Fightful. Sorry, I'm just reading it through before this. Ann Callis, the attorney for Janelle Grant, the former WWE employee and sexual assault and human trafficking survivor, released the following statement. During his time leading WWE, Vince McMahon acted as if rules did not apply to him. And now we have confirmation that he repeatedly broke the law to cover up his horrifying behavior, including human trafficking. The SEC's charges prove that the NDA Vince McMahon coerced Ms. Grant into signing violates the law, and therefore her case must be heard in court. While prosecutors for the Southern District of New York continue their criminal investigation, we look forward to bringing forward new evidence in our civil case about the sexual exploitation Ms. Grant endured at WWE by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, end quote. So there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that... No, it's that lawsuit's still going on. Vince can say case is closed. He means the SEC case. But of course he doesn't. He wants you to think he doesn't mean the SEC, just the SEC case. He wants you to think it's everything. And that's why that's the first line of his statement.
And there are enough people out there who assume that that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's not the case at all. There you go.
We'll be keeping an eye on that. We will also put over Pollock and Thurston are doing a new show at noon Eastern. So by the time we get out of here, Pollock and Thurston are going to be live talking about the Vince McMahon story, specifically the fine by the SEC. And I'm sure that they'll follow up with the Janelle Grant. The Ann Callis, who is the attorney for Janelle Grant, the statement that was just made. So we look forward to their reporting, as we always do, and we'll hear more about it soon enough. There wasn't anything else from AEW Dynamite that really jumped out to me. We covered quite a lot of it. Was there anything else for you that you really wanted to jump on from this?
It was a good show overall. That was a good show. And next week is looking like a pretty solid show, top to bottom. And we'll see how it happens. Collision seems not like for me,
show.
But
like a show. It'll exist.
Maybe I'll watch the replay of NXT instead.
It had to show up sometime.
That rules that they just decided to just do a replay of NXT head to head against Collision. He's like, we got the Rock
on TV.
It's a WWE play. That's for sure. It's a WWE play. The thing is like, obviously people are going to read into that, how they're going to read into it, and they're going to take it, how they're going to take it. I get it. Man, they're up against the NFL playoffs. Like, it doesn't really matter what's airing on Saturday night. The NFL playoffs are on. That's what Collision's going up against. This NXT running a replay show ain't going to do any damage to Collision. But it's also not going to help Collision. And that's what people are going to rightfully take into, is it's not going to help Collision. So that's why they're doing it. But the damage is going to be done by the NFL playoffs.
What's been announced for Collision? I know Tej versus Edge is a match.
Chris Jericho against Dax.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mariah May and Harley Cameron.
That should be the main event. I don't care who you ask. That should be the main event. It
should be, but here's the thing. Like, yes, it should be in the fact that like it pops us. But this is what I've been saying with Harley Cameron, is like she just keeps losing. That's all she does is lose. And so as great as she is, and she is great, love Harley Cameron. The song she did for Mariah May was awesome. It was hilarious. The backstage segment with her and Mariah May on Wednesday was great. It's tough for me to see her in this position and being like, all right, well, we know she's just going to lose this match. And if she wins, I don't think that's a great look from Mariah May. It's like, wait, you lost to Harley Cameron? She's a comedy act. And there's nothing wrong with her being a comedy act, by the way, because she's fantastic at it. I just don't think she should be facing the women's champion and then potentially beating her or just losing to her like she does every single time. It's not a match I want to see because they haven't done enough with Harley Cameron to make you want to see her wrestle and to make you believe she's gonna pick up a victory. You want to see Harley Cameron. You want to see Harley Cameron be Harley Cameron, but they haven't done anything to make you believe, hey, Harley Cameron might actually win this match. She lost last night on ROH to Trisha Dora. Like, could you not have timed it out a little bit better to where she picked up a victory? And I know not a lot of people watch ROH. I get it. But she's still, the last time she was on AEW/ROH television, she was losing to Trisha Dora, another person who just I don't actually do anything with. But Harley Cameron just loses all the time. It's a fun match. Yeah, Harley Cameron's great.
There will be some comedy and there will be some laughy yucks. Should be the main event. No, Cope versus Big Bill or Jericho and Dax. One of those two. Those are the only matches that have been announced. So I could see Jericho getting the main event, and then they just do a thing with Cope and Big Bill and Dax and Cash and all those guys doing a big ballyhoo at the end, just to set up Cope versus Jericho for the ROH title on Wednesday.
ROH doesn't exist. But the last time you saw her on AEW television, she was losing to Willow Nightingale.
Poor ROH. ROH doesn't exist. Never heard of it.
I just want Harley Cameron to win. That's it. People get mad at that. They're like, there's a place for her. Week. Yeah, on ROH, a show that doesn't exist. We just established.
Yeah, exactly. So it did good enough. Right?
I just wanted her to win. Like, I would, you know what I would prefer? I would prefer Harley Cameron beating, let's look at this roster.
Sure.
Collision. Mariah May beats somebody, not Harley Cameron. Who can Mariah May beat?
Julia Hart.
I don't know if you want to beat Julia Hart.
You're right. She just won. Jamie Hayden, Penelope Ford.
Didn't she already beat Penelope Ford?
Harley?
Yeah.
No,
so. Not Harley. Mariah May.
Oh, Mariah May. Yeah, she beat Penelope Ford. Okay. We've all beaten Penelope Ford.
Harley Cameron beating Penelope Ford actually isn't bad.
That's kind of what I was going for. It's who can Harley beat.
Yeah, Harley Cameron beats Penelope Ford. And Mariah May maybe faces somebody. I don't know who she faces. I'm trying to get 2 women's matches on the show as well, everybody.
Please clap. Layla Hirsch.
Madison Rain.
No, please don't do that. I want good matches.
Wow.
I said it. I'm not stepping back from it. Serena Deeb. I feel like you did that before.
No one cares.
Ty Mello just came back. She had a great outing. She just came back. Give her something. If she's ready to go and she's ready to commit to being back on the road full time, whatever that looks like, that's a start. Deonna Purrazzo's another one.
Yeah, but I don't. Deanna's also taken, but you know what? Deonna has taken losses. So Mariah May, Deonna Purrazzo. I'm not. But see, you can't give Deonna that match after she just lost to Toni Storm. I was trying to get somebody like coming off a win.
Let me introduce you to our friend Anna Jay.
Like that, I'm attempting to give Mariah May a match against somebody who has won a match, and that seems difficult.
Very difficult.
Now. Sorry for attempting that.
Mercedes Moné. Willow Nightingale. Chris Statlander and Mariah May.
Well, Stats in the women's gauntlet, so
yes.
She's facing Harley Cameron, who again just Harley Cameron's been losing. So that's why I think someone like Serena Deeb's not a terrible choice, because Serena Deeb, she lost her last match. She lost the qualifier gimmick, but she's at least been off television for a little while. So Mariah May beating Serena Deeb, that's fine. Harley Cameron beating Penelope Ford. Like, there you go. And then next week, you can maybe do Mariah May and Harley Cameron. That's all. Just give Harley Cameron a win. That's all I want.
I'm naming a bunch of people that appear allegedly on Thursdays, but we never see it because that show doesn't exist.
Yeah, show doesn't exist.
Shout out to TNA. We're talking about TNA, right?
No, absolutely not.
They got a pay-per-view next Sunday.
Do they? That's
yeah. Genesis is on a Sunday night. Discovered that the hard way. Jensen did decide he's going to come to work that night.
It's on a Sunday night?
Yeah, it's the same night as the GCW show. It's on the 19th. I didn't realize it was a Sunday until last night.
Tomorrow is like MLW and New Japan Battle in the Valley.
You just can't catch a break.
Nah, it's just so much wrestling.
Well, tonight, 3 hours of SmackDown. And there's only one match announced.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's like we're going to add an extra hour, but also we're going to tell you a whole lot less of what's going on this show.
It is kind of like they did that last week where they just didn't like have much announced. Like,
yeah, they only had 2 things. Now. They had 2 things announced, and the third thing was that SmackDown is now a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm sure that the crossover hour 2 match between Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight for the US Championship will be great.
That'd be a fine match. I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's all they got announced. I don't think LA Knight's going to take the title back this quickly. So is he just going to take another loss?
Or they'll have some sort of thing.
Andrade comes out, or
they turn into an Andrade thing.
Yeah.
Malakai Black,
I don't think he's coming back this soon, but I guess we'll see.
Oh, you know what they say. No man is ever truly contracted.
Yeah.
No man is ever truly evilly contracted. But every man is substantiable.
Yeah, substantiable. That's right.
No, they're not.
You got it, Joel. You got it. No, that's the word.
Not the word.
That's the word, Joel.
And by the way, once again, as we mentioned, and I did listen back to the audio, when everyone was freaking out about 3-hour SmackDown, and Andrew Zarian was with us, and I reminded everyone that the reporting was it was only until June. Well, Paul Levesque on Monday did say, well, we're going back to 2 hours. He didn't specify when, which made me laugh because people were like, how already? And I was like, well, no, they're going to do 6 months of this shit. So have fun.
They should go back to 2 hours like tonight.
They should. I think it'd be very funny if they're just like, LOL, JK, we're back to 2 hours. Have fun. Bye. They don't tell USA. So for 1 hour, USA is like, what do we put on for next hour? They can get an SVU episode up. Real stat. Do we have Big Bang Theory? Hell of a lead out for SmackDown. Anyway, SmackDown's 3 hours until June, and then they reevaluate. All right. Anything else we have to promote?
No.
We've gone long enough for the last little while. It is Friday. If you want to do the thing.
Got to. It's getting. Yeah, there's still.
You still got about half a bottle there.
Yeah, there's still some left there.
Get the cats.
I don't know where the cat is.
Oh, it's over.
Cat gave up finally. It was like, this little asshole's not playing with me, so I'm just gonna go do my own thing now.
I'm gonna find someone else to play with.
Oh, there's no one else here, so good luck with that.
All right.
You gonna hit it? You hit it.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Oh, speak, bitch. Come on now.
I just want an excuse to use that one. All right, here's the actual one.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. This is how good. The final. God damn, that's good shit.
Mana, the final boss. And here we go. Because this is how good. God damn, that's good shit.
Just do not get into a car after this.
No, I'm going to chase this with my watered down sweet tea.
Oh my God, that is more water than sweet.
Well, it's just ice at this point because I've, had it since like 8:30 this morning. So it's just ice.
Did you get a breakfast sandwich with that?
I got a McGriddle. Got a McGriddle and hash brown. Yep.
Which McGriddle do you get?
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
The bacon. Okay, I like the sausage patty better.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what it is. I like bacon is fine. I just like a sausage patty better. Maybe because it's like having a burger, even though it's sausage. Well, my Jewish friends are all crying right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have anything else to promote?
I don't think so.
We're back on Monday, as we typically are, talking about who knows. I don't even know at this point. Stuff will happen. Things will come out. We will talk. We'll have apple slices from McDonald's because Ryan Lambert likes them too. And then we'll maybe talk about some wrestling. So how about that? Go enjoy your weekend, or don't. I don't care. Go watch wrestling, or don't. I don't care. I do hope that you're happy. And if you're not happy, that you get happy. So for Jeremy Lambert, I'm at Joel Pearl, or the Joel Pearl, over on the Blue Sky Gimmick. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you on Monday. Cheers.